Yes, people, how we doing? Hope you're all well. I don't know what's gone on with my computer here. It's completely crashed on me. There we go. We're back. Can you hear me all right, Lee?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. Very bizarre. But anyway, we're back. You know when your computer just goes blank and then it comes back on? That's basically what's happened. Anyway,
I've
I
had
hope you're
that.
all good. I hope you're all well. And me and Lee are back. My God, this is one of the hottest days that I can remember in a very long time. And I've been quite lucky because I've been on a cool train and a cool studio doing some filming. I'm back in my house and it is like someone's left the heating on. It's like a sauna up here. It's absolutely crazy. I've got no fan at the moment. So got the windows open trying to put in some form of breeze, but my God, it's warm. Hope you're all well, people. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you're following Lee Judges on all platforms and myself, Dan Arsenal 87 and Football's 12th Man. We're going to be talking fixtures and transfers, and I'm not going to lie, I don't think either of those two topics are particularly positive at the moment as far as we're concerned. So my first question, jumping straight into it, is how Lee Judges felt at 9:15 this morning when the fixtures were announced.
Well, I knew about them a little bit earlier than that, but do you know what? I'll be really honest. I'm not negative. Like don't like to be negative before the season started, but it's kicked me in the old left testicle, Dan. Like, you know what I mean? If I'll be honest, it's really got me down. It's got me down. I've looked at the fixture. I can't be excited by any of it. As I said to you earlier on, I've gone through the fixtures at this moment in time going, well, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go to that game. I'm not going to go to that game. I'm going to give that game a miss, this game a miss. That ain't like me, Dan. You know what I mean? I'm really like the last few years been really up for it, And even when we knew that we weren't going to win the league for a few years before that, I was looking forward to it because we was trying to build something. But it seems that we've got to a certain level and we've gone, we'll give it a good go, didn't we, lads? You know what I mean? Like, thanks for all your efforts. And it's really down. I think the club missed a trick by not helping us out, by just giving us something to just give us a little bit of a boost, just by saying that, there we've got the striker, we've got this. And then if they did, we could be really getting on board with it and excited about it. Those first 6 games, someone said to me, I think you've said it as well, horrendous. And I turned around and said, they are horrendous if you're what we are now, when you've got no forwards going into it. You've got Kai Havertz as your only... Well, he ain't even really a forward, is he? Like, let's be honest. I don't really know what Kai Havertz is, but you wouldn't say he's a forward. If you was to say what is Kai Havertz, you'd say a false 9 would be, well, the false 9. He ain't a forward, right? So we ain't got a forward. So at this moment in time, looking at those 6 fixtures, they are horrendous. But if we was like signed the forward, signed this and signed that, we'd be buzzing for it. And I'm not, and I don't care what anybody says. I'm not really feeling it at the moment. Like, Arsenal have got to make some signings, Dan, before and get us fans on board. And I'll tell you this now, like, I know this is bad. It's bad. They've brought out a new training top. Have you seen them? They're lovely. They're absolutely lovely, like, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, I've got to get one. And, the time I get down, they'll all be sold out. But the fact that what I'm saying is that they are nice on it, but I just feel like, come on. You just asked me to go and buy a shirt, which you bought, you know what I mean? You've got a season ticket. Now you're asking me to go and buy a training top. When are you going to do some business and just make us feel a little bit more like we've got a chart, we're pushing? What it feels like at the moment, and I know it's only before anybody goes on about it, it's still early in the transfer window. I get that. But I'm going on the back of January, not doing nothing. All I'm just saying is, like, just give us something, give us a bit of hope, give us like you are determined to do it, like, you know what I mean, at this moment in time. And they're not, quite comfortable putting out another load of merchandise and all that, like, which ain't cheap, Dan. Very nice, but ain't cheap. On top of everything else. And I just feel really down about it. I can't help it. Listen, sign a couple of players and they can do it. And then on the back of this, I'm getting the news that Thomas Partey's not going to be with us next season. So that means we've lost Jorginho and Thomas Partey from last season. So we've got to sign on top of the midfield players now. The forwards and the wide players. We have to sign a midfield player as well. You know, that should never have happened, Dan, letting Thomas Partey go like he has, unless they've got somebody lined up. But the same people are saying, like, be patient, be patient. We're saying exactly the same thing in January. Nothing.
Yeah, I feel the same. I don't think it's really the fixtures that has annoyed me, because people are going over the top with it. You got to play everyone twice. It's nice out of full sometimes. It ain't felt very kindly for us again, but I didn't think it was. I weren't expecting to get Everton, Burnley, Sunderland, West Ham, Wolves, and all on top. You're going to have to play some top teams, right? But to get 3 of your first 6 away from home, some people think it's good, Lee. I've heard some people say they're all right with that. Get them out of the way. I suppose that's the way you can look at it. What's annoyed me is the fact that we've done no business whatsoever, on top of the training kits coming out and everything else. This Club World Cup's going on and everyone's done their business. And then all of a sudden we are doing absolutely nothing. And we get tough fixtures, which means there's even more pressure now. It's like, when they say it's emergency, it's urgent. Well, it is now. We've got to go and get these players in, haven't we, Judge? Because we've got these fixtures around the corner.
The transfer window shuts for us on the beginning of the season now. That's when you can't, I know it's the 1st of September, but by the 1st of September, you'd have played 2 away games against Man United and Liverpool, 2 of your biggest rivals. So, for instance, if you've got West Ham, Fulham and Crystal Palace you could maybe go, I'll tell you what, I'll take a gamble on whatever. You can't be gambling on that. You can't be gambling on that. And in between those things now, you've got international breaks coming up. We know what happened on international breaks last year. We lost 2 of our best players on international breaks, in Saka and Odegaard. So I'm sorry, the squad's not strong enough. It wasn't strong enough last season. You have a look at December. And I'll tell you what, best to go on the Arsenal website for December, right? Go on I'll go on it like what? So you go onto this, right, and have a look at the fixtures, right, for December and January. And I'll give you now. This is if you want to be successful, Dan, right? If you want to be successful, right? Because I'm already thinking dare I say it, in September, we've got Man City and Newcastle, right? In between that's the first round of the League Cup. So dare I say it, is old Mikel going to throw that one away, right? Is he? Is he? Better not. But we you know what I mean? It's in between those 2 big away games, Manchester City at home, Newcastle away. But this is what it's like in December. So on the first, we've got Brentford, Aston Villa. Then we've got a Champions League game. Then we've got Wolves, League Cup game, if we're still in it. Everton, Brighton, Aston Villa again, right? Yeah. And then you go into January, you've got Bournemouth, Liverpool, FA Cup, League Cup semi-final first leg, Nottingham Forest, Champions League, Manchester United, Champions League, Leeds. Right? League Cup second leg is in the beginning of February, right? If you've not got a big enough squad, you're going to crumble, mate. Crumble. You know what I mean? Like leading up to those sort of games. Now, you have a look at last January, we failed on every front in January. We was knocked out of the FA Cup, League Cup, and it was just a poor, lost league games as well. Why? Because on the back of what I've just said, we're jaded. So when you go into that December thing, you've got to pick, for instance, you've got Brentford at home, Aston Villa away. If you've got a proper squad, you go, do you know what? Brentford, I'm playing Havertz up front with Martinelli and so-and-so. And then against Aston Villa away, in comes Sesko, in comes Rodrigo, or who's ever on the left-hand side, Saka. Next game against Champions League would be the same. Then we've got Wolves at home, swap it all again. At this moment in time, we can't. We've got to just keep churning out the same team all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sorry, you know, this is on the back of doing nothing in January. Nothing in January, Dan. You know what I mean? Like, the reason we didn't do nothing in January is for the summer, right? So, should these things be sorted out now? We're still differing over who we're going to get, Sesko or what's that. For me, the only thing that can appease it now for me is if we pick up my phone or someone comes on Sky Sports, both players have been signed. That tells me then that
we get Isak.
Or we get Isak,
yeah, which is unrealistic.
Yeah.
But you're right, and I am peeved off about this transfer window. If I'm honest with you, a lot of people are saying don't go over the top. All right, I won't go over the top. I'll just say I'm concerned. Is that all right? Is that negative to say? I know Arsenal, and I've been here before. 11 minutes ago, Romano's tweeted that Sesko's agent, Elvis Basanovic, has answers on Arsenal and Leipzig. He says, we have a clear plan. We will never force or blackmail Leipzig. We do things in the right way, or we don't do them at all. Sesko will only leave for a special club and project. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it means he's going or he's staying or what it means. I personally don't really care anymore about Sesko. I want to get Gyökeres in. Otherwise, I don't want anyone. It's either Isak, Gyökeres, Alvarez, who's not going to go, or Osimhen. They're the only four players that I would say. I don't want Sesko. I don't want Jonathan David or João Pedro or Mateta or any of these guys. I don't want any of them. It's got to be someone who's taking us across the line. If that player comes in and Havertz is starting, get rid of them all because they're crap. Because Kai Havertz should not be a starter from Arsenal. There is no way in hell that guy wins us anything up top. I know you're a fan of him, Lee, but he don't win us anything. Gets across the line. He's a squad player, right? And if we start the season with him up top, which is what we're going to do, let's have it right. That will tell me everything I need to know about this football club. It will, because they've got zero ambition, in my opinion. Now, Berta was coming in my opinion, to come in and go boom, 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 and do a madness. We've got to let him time to do that, and he might still do madness. But a certain early signs ain't good, bruv, is it? Like, we've got no striker. We're not deciding, is it Sesko or Gyökeres? Oh, I'm not sure, really. Should we not have been doing this in March and April? No. We've got June. We've got ages. Yeah, we've got June. It's only June. Club World Cup's going on. Leave it. Got time. We've got time. Zubamendi, yeah, we can't do nothing till July with him. All right, but I tell you, we can get the backup goalkeeper that Chelsea don't want. Because Chelsea have given us our sloppy seconds again. Let's go and get him across the line. How is this exciting? This is not an exciting summer window, which we were told it was going to be. So give it time. Give it time. We'll wait till the 1st of September and we'll decide if that's been a good window or not. But right now, I don't know who is going to be an exciting couple of signings. Isak would. That's not happening. Rodrigo would. Not sure that's happening. Gyökeres doesn't look like we want him. I'm starting to run out of exciting players now. You mentioned Morgan Rogers. I'll go along with that. But I don't know how realistic that is because Villa said that he's not for sale. So how do we make this an exciting window, Judge? Real talk, real question. How do we make this an exciting one now? Because Florian Wirtz has gone to Liverpool, mate. Reinders is balling out today, apparently, for City. Funny that. Who saw that one coming when I said we should have got him from AC Milan? And City have gone and snapped him up. And apparently he's balling out. Ryan Cherky's come through to City. Ait Nouri's come through to City. Liverpool are getting Kirkers. They've got Frimpong. They've got Mamdashvili. I can tell you this. Those that don't think that Liverpool and City fans are laughing at Arsenal right now, think again. Because they've already planning their Klopp versus Pep thing again. They're already telling everybody, Man City or Liverpool, which one? I ain't talking about us, Judge. I ain't talking about Arsenal. Because LB has said to me, well, why aren't you serious? Why are you not serious? We are. We've had a shit season. We've lost Rodri. He's come back. Hopefully that'll bring Foden back into it, he said. We've bought Reinders. We bought Cherky. We bought Ait Nouri. And we're still looking at a right back and another midfielder. Winger. Liverpool, Trent's gone. Oh, well, we've got Frimpong in. We've got in Kirkes as well. Mamdashvili's coming in goal. We've obviously got Florian Wirtz, and we're going all out for Isak. Serious club. Manchester City, serious club. Arsenal, oh, Zubamendi, when can we get him? Oh, sorry, it's just not the same energy with us with them two, is it?
No, it isn't. It's energy like getting your season tickets, energy selling merchandise and everything like that. Can't disagree with a word you're saying. Like, you know, it just I just, you know what I mean. This is of course on the back of January. Like, you know what I mean. Man City went and signed players in January. They're going to sign more, and they're not happy. They're not happy where they are and all that. They're not satisfied. I don't know. Like, I look at our team at the moment. Where will it go? Like Kai Havertz. Let's just say that Kai Havertz can get you a certain level. He'll get you to a Champions League place, being up front, even give you a title challenge. But he's not going to get you over the line, Dan. Right? Can we get that? He's not going to get you over the line, right? So it's not wishful thinking or whatever. It's facts because he's done it for 2 years. He's not quite got us over the line the year before, unluckily. And this season, nowhere near it. Martinelli the same, Saka the same, if you want to be really honest about it. That front three has not been able to get us over the line. So what do you need to do? Give it another season, or do you bring in other players? Me, you bring in other players now, like, you know, and they're all fight for their places to see if they can stay in the same. Saka included in that, like, you know. And then you look at the midfield. Is the midfield quite... It's not quite been there, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, Odegaard, not quite at it over the duration of the season, not quite at it at home games. All right, we're bringing Zubimendi, like, you know, it might change it around. It might. I don't know. Might give us a little bit more legs. We don't know. Defensively, yes, I don't think there's too much to change on it, like, you know? So what are you looking at the areas to get us over the line? If it's not the players, then you've got to be looking at the manager, right? Because, you know, if you're thinking, right, well, you ain't going to buy this and you ain't going to get that, well, you're happy with the players then. So it's got to be the manager. So he's not quite, he's good enough, but not quite good enough to get us over the line. So these questions have got to be answered, or they've got to be rectified, Dan. Like, you know what I mean? And for me, if I'm Mikel Arteta, I don't know how you can be enjoying yourself on the beach at the moment. Wouldn't you be, for me, I'll be enjoying my holiday if I know I've got my centre forward wrapped up already, my wide midfield. Now, they might have this done, I don't know, but like, so you can sit there and enjoy that, you know what I mean? Because I'll be waking up in the evening, at night time, and sweat's going on, what we're going to do. You know, these things should have been done. They've lost a coach now as well. You know, this all we're doing is just replacing what we're losing. Our squad wasn't strong enough last season without Jorginho and Thomas Partey. We've not replaced them two yet, let alone strengthen it by saying we've got more in depth then. If we bring in two midfield players now, right? Say if we bring in Zubimendi and somebody else, that is not... All that's done is just replace what we've lost. It might have made it better in the long term. In the long term, it might have done. But what it's not done is not strengthened up the whole squad when I look at what fixtures we've got and all that. Because one of them gets injured, which will happen, right? One comes in. What happens if another one gets injured? We're back down to bare bones trying to put in players in different places and all that. Like Marino can go back in there, yeah. So he'll be a backup. You know, Wanyeri can go in there. Wanyeri's at the moment, he's still playing football. So he's going to need a bit of a break. He's a young kid. He's going to need a long break as well. I don't imagine that he'll be on that tour. If he is on the tour, I'd be surprised. You know, all these little things that are going to happen then, like, you know what I mean? And just at the end of the day, are we squabbling over 10 million pounds? Well, all right, okay. Well, we just saved that on the Kepa deal, which everybody's going mad about. We was prepared to spend 24 million pound on a backup goalkeeper. Well, there's the matter. All right, so you've gained it here. Well, we'll lose it there then. What's the problem? I don't really understand, Dan. Like, why are we so slow? Why are Arsenal fans restless? We're restless because we're on the back of what happened in January, the back of what happened at the season, and we've been here before. And that's why we're all a little bit jumpy, should I say. Not negative, just a little bit jumpy, a little bit restless.
I agree. And I don't think it's a bad thing or it's a shock, or I don't think it's unjustifiable to be. I think it's fine and fair for Arsenal fans to be concerned and have issues. Be a little bit nervous, be a little bit jumpy, as you say, because in January we did nothing. Previous January we did nothing. Season gone, we had a poor summer. This summer we done nothing yet. And you look at the other windows we had, where we were giving Aubameyang away for free and buying nobody in and saying we had nothing because of PSRs, we can't bring anyone. When was the last great transfer window Arsenal had? The last signing Arsenal made was Raheem Sterling. You know that, don't you? That was the last signing that Arsenal made. So when you look at it like that, it is a worry and it is a concern. And I don't know how people can't be concerned by it. But let's have a look at these fixtures because there are some people out there that have not seen it yet, believe it or not. It's not the best of starts, as we've said, Judge. We'll go through them month by month. Obviously, at the moment, it looks like August and September couldn't have got much worse, bruv. Manchester United away, first game of the season. Leeds at home, newly promoted at the Emirates. Liverpool at Anfield. Going into September, Forest, City, Newcastle. Forest and City at home, Newcastle away. With the squad we've got now, and without us doing much in the early part of the transfer window, I can see 3 or 4 games drop there with this current crop of players that we got. So what are you telling me about these 2 months?
Listen, I look at Man United like, I think maybe, I'm going to be really honest, that ain't a bad time to play them, really. Like, beginning of the season, like, you know, they're not going to be quite ready with all the new players being, you know, they might well be, but, you know, when you're bringing in 5, 6, 7, 8 players, that's not going to be easy. So, you know, could be a good thing for us on that one there. Leeds at home's not going to be easy because, you know, one thing we can't do is break down a low block. So if we don't score early against them, we're under the cosh, you know, and that could be a disappointment. And then the Liverpool game, listen, we've done fairly well there in the last couple of seasons to get draws and everything like that. I'll take a point there. I'll bite your hand off for a point there now. But that will be a difficult game. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost there. The next 3 games, people say to me, like, not Nottingham Forest, don't know what's going to happen with Nottingham Forest. They had a great season last season, like, but that might be like, what's the word I'm looking for? They could, like, because they had probably overachieved last season, but they could be a little bit flat going into this one. I don't know. Fulham's never easy, Dan. People going, oh, you get a result there. Fulham, like, you know what I mean? Like, not is it Fulham? Not easy. I can't remember who we got now.
Yeah, I'll move it on. We have got Fulham. We've
got sorry, it's like Forest. It's Man City at home, isn't it? Sorry, it's Man City at home. For you know, what I mean?
I thought you were moving on.
Yeah, Man City at home. I was thinking of the away game. Man City at home. So Forest, not easy. Man City, well, you know what I mean? Like, that could. I don't care what anybody says. That can go either way. We can win that, lose that, draw that. Anything can happen in that game there. And Newcastle away, I'd love to be sitting here saying, well, that could go either way. The best we can hope for there is a draw. So for me, like, I think we'll beat Man United, we'll beat Leeds just, draw, lose to Liverpool, beat Forest, draw with City, lose to Newcastle. That's 2 defeats, 1 draw. You know, like 4 or 5, but it ain't good enough. That's with the current crop we've got now. That's with what we've got now. You know, bring in a couple of forwards and an exciting forwards and all. Imagine if we brought in a couple of them, we think, whoa, come on, we're at Liverpool on the counter attack. That'd be a great game. So you don't know, like, you know what I mean? At this moment in time, it don't look good. But listen, if we get all the players that we know we need, I'll be buzzing, you know what I mean, for that game. Buzzing against Man United because you know, like, if we gel, we could go there and win 3 or 4-0. You know what I mean? Like, beat Leeds comfortably, go to Liverpool and get something. You know what I mean? Yeah, we don't play well against Man United, but this is a time to change and all that, like, you know. The thing about these fixtures at the moment, Dan, and why I'm not getting excited about it is because we don't know what our team's going to be. So how can you get excited about it, like, you know? So we'll have to wait and see, like, you know, we never get the players what we want to get anyway. I'll get that. But how can you get excited about that?
You can't get excited about the fixtures at the moment because of the window we've had. like you say, let's say we get Gyökeres, we get Rodrigo, we get Eze, alongside Zubimendi, Kepa, and a backup defender. You might get a little bit more up for it then and think, do you know what? We look like we're complete. But whilst we're mucking around, we don't know what striker we're getting, we don't know what left winger we're getting. It doesn't look like we've got any central midfielder, attacking midfielder links. Doesn't look like Zubamendi's coming until July. That's if he's coming at all. And the other players we link with are all backups. You can't get excited for these games. I'll be honest with you now. Even if everyone's fit going into this game, I don't think we're guaranteed to beat Man United at Old Trafford. We're not guaranteed to win at Anfield. We're not guaranteed to win at Manchester City at home or Newcastle away. Now, you can say we're not guaranteed to win them even if we do go and have a brilliant window, right? But you'd have damn sight more chance of feeling confident. I don't feel confident with Havertz, Martinelli, and in midfield the same as what it was, without Thomas Partey going into these games. No chance do I. No chance do I. And then it gets a little bit easier. Can we say easier? I mean, maybe that's the wrong word to use, but October and November and December there, you can see West Ham, Fulham and Palace. We don't leave London in October. So you have to say that it's maybe become a little bit easier. November, Burnley and Sunderland, but then we got Tottenham and Chelsea. And funny enough, in the reverse fixtures, Lee, we got Tottenham and Chelsea together as well later on in the year, right? What do you make of that October, November, December time? Because Christmas time, I don't know what's happening with the fixtures, if there's Boxing Day fixtures yet or what. There's going to be Champions League games in between these as well. It's piling up, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, October's nice for us, you know what I mean? It's a horrible month, that really, isn't it? Like, you know what I mean? It's a five-week month, October. Because of the international break there, you've only got 3 games. So spread out over a long. That's not great, is it? Like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, as I said, Fulham's not an easy game, but you'd look at that and go, right, okay, that's good. Burnley and Sunderland, difficult away games, but you should be looking at that. Spurs, Chelsea, there is a Champions League game in between that. So have Spurs and Chelsea got games in between that. So that's going to be difficult. What you're looking there is, I think that's the one game. I think on one of them we've got a Champions League game there, and we go away the following week. Most of them we got them at home, Dan, and coming back
Yeah.
from. So that ain't too bad. So if we can get Spurs at home, and then a Champions League game at home as well, that would then make November quite a good month. You know what I mean? Like, not too much. But if you have a look at that at the moment, then November, Spurs is the only home game we've got in November. Chucking a Champions League away game, there's a lot of travelling with that.
Yeah.
So, it looks all right on paper, but I think that's a tough one. Spurs and playing 1 week and then Chelsea the next, that's never going to be easy. Never going to be easy. So you physically, you can't be like, you're asking the players then to play Spurs Champions League game and then come back to Chelsea away and physically go for it again. Asking too much. So the squad's going to have to be using those games there. But October and November doesn't look too bad, really. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the toughest one for me, you know what I mean? Like, September's going to be horrendous for us. Horrendous, like Newcastle and Man City. And then December, like, I think with December, it could be a lot worse, couldn't it?
I don't think December's bad. Like Brentford, Villa, Wolves, Everton, Brighton, Villa. I mean, having Villa home and away there, that's a bit bizarre, isn't it? We play Aston Villa.
They always do that now, don't they? There's always every month, every game, there's always
every
mad.
season.
I don't know why they do that.
It's mad. But, I mean, look, if you want to get two games quickly out of the way, Villa are a bit of a bogey side for us. So I wouldn't mind getting him out of the way, to be fair, before the halfway point. But Brentford, got to expect to win that. Villa, got to expect to win that. We did last year. Wolves at home, win. Everton away, we've got to go there and win. Brighton at home, we got to win, and Villa at home, we got to win. We've got to win every single one of them games in December. Every single one of them's got to be a win. I appreciate November's more difficult with Chelsea away and Spurs at home, but you'd expect us to be beating Burnley and Sunderland. October, West Ham, Fulham, Palace. Look, I'm being serious. First, it's tough, August, September, but I want to be winning between October, November, December. I don't want to be dropping any more than one of those games if we're going to win the title.
Yeah, if you're going to win a title, that's exactly right. You've got to go there and win all those games. You know, like Everton just before Christmas ain't a bad thing. That's a nice little trip.
Yeah.
To the new stadium and all that. It's looking at this moment in time, with a bit of luck, we ain't going to have to. We'll be playing like, we won't be playing Christmas Day. Obviously, we won't be playing Christmas Day, but don't look like we're playing Boxing Day. Because I've said, look at a few of the fixtures there. There's better fixtures than Arsenal Brighton, if I'll be honest. You know what I mean? So I think maybe we'll be playing on that Saturday, and then we're going into January then. And that ain't easy.
No. Well, look, January, just don't get any easier, does it?
Well, no, you got those 3 games that we're all saying are very hard in August. They're in January. Leeds, Man United, and Liverpool.
And Forest away.
They've got Forest who's just after that, and Bournemouth away ain't going. I don't, you know, again, you don't know what that's going to prove, but going down the coast.
Yeah, January's tough, man. Bournemouth away, Liverpool at home, Forest away, United at home, Leeds away. February we get it's guard as well because Sunderland all right home. You'd like that to start, but then you got Brentford away, Tottenham away, Chelsea at home. That's not bloody easy either.
Ah.
Yeah, March, fair enough. Brighton, Everton, Wolves. I think we've got them together quite a bit. And then you go into the running, which is actually quite a nice running other than Man City away. You've got Bournemouth City, you've got Newcastle, Fulham, West Ham, Burnley, Palace. Can't complain at the way we end the season in May.
I don't think that's too bad, even if you add March into that, Dan.
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
So after the Chelsea home game, you know, like after the Spurs game, really, like Chelsea at home, Brighton, we should then be racking up the points going at the back end of the you know, that is as good a running as you can say. As you say, Manchester City away, of course, that's going to be tough. West Ham away, tough. But, you know, like you're going to have it. But at the end of the day, that ain't a bad little 10-game little running.
No.
At the end of the day, that's been a little bit more favourable than the last few, you know. So, you know, that's, you know, if you get the work done properly and you're giving yourself a chance, aren't you? But I don't know. I look at that, you know, Brighton away is never easy, but like, you know, teams like Brighton and Everton and Wolves may be tiring towards the end of the season, like, you know, after, so it ain't a bad thing to be taking them on, like, you know, Burnley at home, come on, that should be like, you know, like the last game of the season. That's Burnley at home, Fulham at home, their last 2 games, you know, come on, like, you know, we should be quite pleased by then, like, you know. So I don't think it's a bad. Listen, if you're having a tough start, somewhere along the line, it's got a little bit easier. It gets us easier at the end, but at the end, is, you know, we might not be nowhere near it, so it might not be great, or we might be, you know. It depends what we do, like, you know. Well, what I think that it would do to me, the one thing I think that it does, it gives us a big kick up, the people at the club, a big kick up the backside to get the business done early, because if we get off to a good start, looking at that end running, it could be beneficial to us, you know. And as you say, like, there's no easy games. You don't know who's going to be, you know, like Burnley, for instance. You don't really know what they're going to be like. Leeds, we don't know if they, how good or poor they're going to be. Sunderland, you know. But listen, the running gives me a little bit of hope.
This is the toughest season that we've had. Last season, we had Wolves at home, Brighton at home, Villa away, City away, Spurs away. That was the first 5. This 5's tougher than that.
Yeah, and we didn't beat Brighton, didn't beat Man City. We dropped points along the way there, like, you know. So, you know, like if you look at it there, and you was to say draw at Man United, draw at Liverpool, draw at Newcastle, and you win all the others, you'd turn around and go, well, that ain't a bad start then, even though you've dropped 6 points. So
what would you take realistically? And forget transfers, forget the squad. As an Arsenal fan, those first 6, what do you expect?
If we can stay unbeaten in them, like beat Man United, beat Leeds, draw at Liverpool, beat Forest, beat Man City, draw at Newcastle, I think that
God.
would be a fantastic return.
Yeah, I
Fantastic
agree.
return.
I agree.
Even if you was to say, right, like, you know, like, I don't know, beat Man United, beat Leeds, lose to Liverpool, and then win the next three, it ain't the end of the world. But I think if you can get draws at Newcastle and Liverpool, it stops them winning as well. You know what I mean? So, like, that would be unbelievable, you know. But listen, if we go to Man City, what's the 20th, and we've you know, like, we've beaten Nottingham Forest, you know, third game into the league season, we're dropping points. We can't do it, Dan. We have got to win our own games. You know what I mean? Like, so I think those 3 away games, you can say, look, even Man United, you can say, all right, we're draw there, draw at Liverpool, draw at Newcastle. I'll take that. But you've got to win your own games. If we drop any points at home, I'll be furious. You cannot lose or drop points against any of those teams at home. And that's Man City in that. Because I'm telling you that now, we're looking at Liverpool, and Liverpool will be looking at us and going, well, we'll beat Arsenal. Newcastle will be saying, we'll beat Arsenal, right? Chelsea will be saying, we'll beat Arsenal. So we can't be going, we'll take a draw there. We're at home. I expect us to beat Liverpool at home. I expect us to beat Man United at home. I expect us to beat Manchester City at home. I expect us to beat Spurs at home. I expect to win every game at home this season. I know you're not going to. You might be a little draw here and there. But those big games, we have to win them at home because, you know, that's where you win the league, Dana. If you have a look at, like, you know, when I look back at when we didn't win the league against Man City, it's because we lost at home against Aston Villa and they didn't lose a home game. That's the difference. So, you know, you will drop points away from home, but you can't afford to drop many at home. Look, listen, you're always going to have one little blip, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we drew with Crystal Palace. We haven't beaten West Ham for 2 years. Since Declan Rice signed for Arsenal, we've not beaten West Ham at home. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be having that. You know what I mean? Every team in the top 6 beats West Ham at home. Tottenham didn't, but like they earned in the top 6, were they? Like, you know what I mean? We're talking like, how did Man City get on against West Ham? How did Liverpool get on against West Ham? How did Newcastle get? You know, I think West Ham might have even beaten Newcastle. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we've got to win those sort of games. You know what I mean? Fulham at home, dropping points there, dropping points against, you know, like we haven't played well against Chelsea for the last couple of games. Someone said to me today, we beat Chelsea away. Not on the last 2 performances.
Man United, bruv, Old Trafford. When was the last time you left Old Trafford thinking, wow, we blitzed them? They're rubbish. This is the worst Man United side I've seen. And when we were the worst, they beat us 8-2.
Just about to say that. Exactly that, Dan. Exactly that. When we was at our fucking lowest, we got stuffed by these teams. 6-0 at Chelsea, 8-2 here. You know what I mean? Like, and then we go to Man United, we scrape a 1-0 win or we draw 1-1. You know what I mean? Like Liverpool, when we was, you know, when we was a little bit vulnerable, do you remember like a few years back and all that? Liverpool come and beat us 4-3, I remember. Man City come and beat us 3-1. Chelsea come and beat us. You know what I mean? And then we go to these teams and we struggle. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we should go to Manchester United and go, right, you've got your sim, bang, 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 see you later, 3-0. That's what it should be. That's, you know what I mean? Like, Leeds at home, 4-0. Then we go into the game against Liverpool with a +5 or 6 with 6 points in the bag. You know what I mean? Like, but you know that ain't going to happen, Dan. You're going to struggle against it, like, you know what I mean? And I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it now. Come on, get the business done, and Mikel, get us all firing and get us looking forward to those games up there and go and say, forget about what Man United are doing. Like, smash them.
I actually had a stat today from Christian who said that we're the only club in the Champions League that are yet to sign anyone. Only Champions League club, apparently. Even Spurs, you've got that tell. Chelsea have signed Dilat. United have got Cunha. Oh, no, they're not in the Champions League, are they? Liverpool got Wirtz. City have got Reinders. And then you go to the European clubs. The top elite European Champions League clubs have all been signing players in this little mini window that's now shut or now open again. And Arsenal have done nothing. But we've got to calm down, apparently, because, you know,
Is that
We need
true?
to
We're the only
relax.
team in the Champions League that ain't signed.
Apparently, only Champions League side not to sign anyone. That's what Christian told me. Someone can have a look at that because that might not be right. But
What is
if that's true,
Newcastle in the Champions League, ain't
no, they're in the Europa
they?
League,
No,
aren't they?
they're in the Champions League.
Oh no, they are in the Champions League. They did get this top 5 on it, so they're in the Champions League. They have signed though. Who have they signed? They've signed someone that they signed from last year. Can't remember who it was now.
But they have
They've signed someone. Yeah, I don't know. It's not no one big like, but they're getting João Pedro. They reckon today, which is interesting because I don't know if he's going to sit on the bench. So maybe Isak is going to Liverpool. God knows. Anyway, Chaitanya says this: the fixture list is what it is. The main thing is getting our top players in and ready. Last season we lost the league, the Champions League, FA Cup, and League Cup all at home. How spot on is that, judges? How spot on is that super chat? Big up to you, Chaitanya. Last season, we lost the league, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, all at home. That ain't good enough.
Exactly. I've said that all along. You know, we lost the Champions League game against a very, very good side because we didn't have a midfield, because the squad weren't up for it, and we got overrun at home. We was fantastic away from home for 20, 25 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, but we couldn't take our chance, or the goalkeeper made a couple of good saves. But at home they outclassed us. Manchester United knocked us out of the cup, didn't they? Like, you know what I mean? Newcastle effectively ended out by beating us 2-0 that day.
Yeah, and the league games, let's be real, we threw them away many, many a time at home, if I'm honest, in the league. I can't even remember how many games we threw away. Palace, Villa, Bournemouth, just West Ham again. Just awful stuff. This comes in from Sarah. Says, hi, lads. Shocking start to the season. I'd rather go to Anfield early than at the end. What's Berta doing? How are we still deciding? What do you make of that, Lee? How are we still deciding what striker?
Well, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I thought the reason we didn't buy anybody in January because we couldn't get who we wanted to get. So this shouldn't be an issue, should it? I'm not being horrible. You don't go and get no one in January. It costs you the league, costs you all your season, really. Right. Like, and the reason I look back at the Champions League, great run we did in the Champions League, but I'm sitting on the bench, sitting there looking at our bench in France, 4 players that have never played for Arsenal, right? And they're not going to play for Arsenal on the bench that day, like, you know. And here we are again, like, you know what I mean? So, so you think to yourself, right, okay, you've done all of that. You've let it go for January, all of that. Window opens and shuts, right, okay. Nothing done. I'm sorry, you can't. If you can sign a player, you can actually say we're signing, but we won't register it till the 1st of July or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Why are other teams signing players in? Why are other people announcing signings and all that at this moment in time? Why have we got to wait till July? You know what I mean? Like, we've spent. Russ told me this the other day, like, you know what I mean? I know it was like 3 transfer windows. We ain't spent a penny. Net spend in the last 4 transfer windows, £5 million. That's what we spent. £5 million. And that's because we're in the Champions League. Well, let's get in the Champions League because you can sign all the best players you can in the Champions League. Well, in that Champions League, in 3 of those 4 transfer windows, we signed no one. Since we've been in the Champions League, it's been 4 windows. 3 of them, we signed no one.
It's pathetic, mate. Not only is it pathetic, when we got into the Champions League, we signed Declan Rice, and I thought maybe we'd woken up. Then I get there and think, other than Timber, who else did you get ecstatic about signing? I weren't ecstatic about signing David Raya. I thought it was a good signing, but I weren't ecstatic about it. Certainly weren't ecstatic about signing Kai Havertz. I certainly weren't ecstatic about signing Calafiori. I wasn't about signing Marino. I wasn't about Neto. And I wasn't about Sterling. So that's 6 signings that we've signed in the Champions League, other than Rice and Timber, who make 8. And I ain't interested in half of them, mate. half of them are fucked off because they're crap. The other half can't get in the first team. And other than Rice, Timber, and Raya, everyone else is either a squad player or they ain't good enough and they've been sold. So what is all this bollocks about getting in the Champions League if you get the best players? We've attracted more players in the Europa League, bruv. We signed Aubameyang in there. We signed Lacazette in there. We signed Partey, Gabriel, Tierney, Erdegaard, Ben White for big money, by the way. This weren't like we were getting them for like 20 quid. We were paying hell of a lot of money for these players. Then we get back into the Champions League. Calm it down. Just take the money. Don't spend it. Just take the money. Me and Stan need a new fucking boat. I'm sick of it, man. Like, this is the problem with these cronkies, mate. Don't tell me that 4 FA Cups is good enough for Arsenal since 2008. No one denied. No one delude yourself to think they've had a good, successful period as owners at this football club. People say there's serious pressure on Mikel Arteta. There should be serious pressure on his owners, judges.
Yeah, listen, look, I'm going bad about and all that. I'll be honest. On the back of last season, I'm not saying it's right. I get it was difficult to sign players after the back of that run that we had, right? I get that, and I forgive the January one. The summer one. I understood the reasons why we didn't get it. We tried to get the wide player, couldn't get the one we wanted again. Couldn't get the forward we wanted again. But I could understand it that we was getting close, near enough with it and all that, right? But once that window shut and we couldn't get it, and then you see what was going on, January comes along, to do nothing is scandalous, Dan. And that doing nothing in January makes a mockery of the one in the summer, if you know what I'm saying. If you didn't do anything in the summer and you thought, do you know what? It was a little bit tough and all that. But then come January, we signed Sesko and we signed the left winger just for a midfield player. You'd have gone, do you know what? Maybe won the Champions League or got in. You go, do you know what? It weren't as bad as what we thought it was in the summer. But what really done it, because we didn't do nothing, it just highlighted what a shambles it was the whole way through. You know, the January one, like, sometimes can just like a little bit like Man City done. Man City made a few mistakes in the summer. No one talks about their crap summer window because they went and done the business in January, Dan. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never done nothing. We just, and then here we are again. Well, we didn't go. We couldn't get the forward we wanted. We couldn't get, and here we are, another transfer window, dithering. I'm not being horrible. Like, if you was seriously going in January for Sesko, right, and it didn't happen, as soon as that transfer window opened, you should have been there. We're back. Hello, we're back. We're back. We're back. They're not though, are they? They're not.
Messing around again, bruv. Messing around again. Last two super chats before we close. Owen says, being intimidated by United is confusing history with reality. United are a pile of shite as a football club and Arsenal should embarrass them. Yeah, we should embarrass them on the first game of the season.
We should.
We should
go there and stuff them, Dan.
Facts. Adash says, tough start, but then again, all the Champions League teams, Arsenal have the best fixtures during the Cup fixtures in the Champions League times. That should make it easier to progress further. Hashtag no excuses. Hashtag no excuses this season, whatever. Forget about the fixtures or the signings. This is win or F off. This ain't no more bloody process. Give it a couple more years. He's only in one of his first out 5 years. This is it now. Win or layers. Do you know what, Judge? To finish, I think that is actually where the fan base are united. I don't think there's anyone disagreeing with that statement anymore. Have you noticed that? Everyone says, well, he's got to go, otherwise we've got to replace him. I've noticed that a lot over the last few months and weeks. I don't know about you.
Yeah, like there is that thing now where it's listen, there's a lot of people backing Arteta. We get that cult thing and all that. Like, I'm with him. Like, you know what I mean? I still think he's done a great job to get us where we have. Can he get us over the line? He's got one more season at it. If he doesn't get the players in, I don't care. I don't want to hear that excuse of, well, he didn't get his so-and-so. No. That's it. Now, get over the line. Get the job done. You know, we've been the best team or the first or second best team going into the Premier League for the last 3 seasons and not done it. Like Liverpool were the 3rd best team in the Premier League last season. Going into the season, they ended up winning it. So even that tells you don't have to be like the favourites. You know, like at this moment, as you're saying, we're 3rd favourites. Well, Liverpool were 3rd favourites last year and they won it. So no, there's no excuses anywhere down the line, Dan. Anywhere down the line.
No, facts. Kahir says 10 million for Trent a month early, us a month late to save 10 million. Yeah, that's the difference between Real Madrid and Arsenal, though, mate. Real Madrid ain't bothered about scrimming and saving.
Arsenal would never have done that, by the way. They said, "Oh, we won't worry about that."
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. We can't apparently afford Sesko or Gyökeres, if you believe the rumours. That's why we weren't going in for Watkins. Yeah, I don't care anymore. I really, honestly don't care anymore. I'm sick of it every year, getting our hopes up, being told we got £350 million by Josh in the programme. Now, all of a sudden, we can't afford Gyökeres for €70 million. But you can buy that donkey from Chelsea for 65 and put him on 290. Clueless way to run a football club. Anyway, that's where we're at, Judge.
That's where we're at.
Big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you stay tuned. This is going to send you over to myself, who's about to go live now on my channel. So make sure that you stay tuned. And me and Lee will be back very soon to talk all things Arsenal and about all the amazing transfers we're getting. So we should be there. That's what we need.
That's
Lee,
what we need.
Say goodbye. I'll let you say goodbye, Judges.
Yeah, listen, I know it's, stay patient. It's hard to stay patient with Arsenal at the moment, but we've got to just try and do it. And let's just hope to God that there's some positive news in the next week or so. Please, Arsenal, sign some players.